Hey guys, it's Patricia with Gymnastics Now. I am sitting in my hotel room in Houston, Texas. Just finished day 2 of the US Women's National Team camp, and we're gonna talk about it. So let's hop right in. I've got my computer right here. I've got core hydration. Shout out to USAG for supplying this. I have a ton of chalk in my lungs, so if I'm coughing or drinking a lot of this, that is why. Media were invited to come and come and watch camp ahead of the games. So this was any media that's credentialed for Paris. We are credentialed for Paris, so a shout out to subscribe to Gymnastics Now, because we'll be at all the meets leading up to Paris and in Paris covering it, and subscriptions support us being able to travel there, being able to get photographers, being able to pay our riders. So any support is so appreciated, more than you know. That being said, this camp was open to press, the Olympic press camp, let's call it, to do interviews and then observe practice. So yesterday, day 1 of it, we sat down with 9 athletes in total and talked to them for 12 minutes at a time. And so these very long interviews, but it's great because we get to just kind of touch on a little bit of everything. There's also a bit of chaos because we were rotating and getting everybody in. So it was a marathon for 2 hours. And then today we got to observe practice. So we showed up, they did, warm up, physical abilities, rotated through all 4 events. And then we talked to Chelsea Mimmel and Alicia Sacramone Quinn, and that was it in a nutshell. So let's kind of go through what happened, observations, all of that. First, yesterday, we do have full video of all these interviews, so we will be posting those. We're just sorting through them right now. But a lot of good things, great things to talk to the athletes about, their season plans, their health, any upgrades that they're working on. There are definitely a lot of upgrades coming, and we'll talk about a couple of them as well. We talked to some of the names we talked to, I probably won't be able to get them all off the top of my head, but we talked to first Evita Griskinas from Rhythmic. She came, and that was the first one we talked to, because we will also be covering Rhythmic, trampoline, and artistic at these games. So talked to Evita, and then she was the only rhythmic gymnast, because she's the only rhythmic gymnast from the US going. She was the only one that qualified. And then talked to Shilese Jones, Jordan Childs, Sky Blakely, Jocelyn Robertson, Kalia Lincoln, who else? Kayla DiCello, and there were 2 more that I am, Tiana Suminasekara and Zoe Miller. That's it. That's the 8. So those are the 8 that we talked to. Simone did not do any press. Suni Lee did not do any press. Suni, to be clear, is not on the national team, so she was not obligated to do any press or anything like that. And Simone will likely obviously speak with the press at her first and going forward meet of the season, which we presume will be the US Classic or Core Hydration Classic. Unlikely that she will be at Winter Cup, which that field will be announced this week, I believe. So we talked with them, did those interviews. Like I said, we will post those interviews soon. But then today we got to watch practice, and that's what a lot of people want to know about. So I want to preface these observations by saying that it's an early season camp. Even during the Olympic year, it's an early season camp. But there were some big takeaways. And you can tell, you know, not 100%, like not everybody's there. Not everybody is necessarily showing what they have right now. And you can't tell who the Olympic team is going to be based off of an early season camp like this, but you can tell who is in the running. Starting with Simone, that's the first place to start, probably always with the US women. She started on vault, so she rotated in Olympic order. On vault, the big thing was she did an aminar. It was to a soft mat, but it looked powerful, it looked great. She did an aminar. So not to say that the Yurchenko, I can't tell you for sure if the Yurchenko double pike is in the history book, in the code of points, and now it's history, but it's very likely. That was very clearly a goal of hers to get that named, and now that it is named, is it worth it to continue competing it? Probably not. So, and if she's doing the aminar, then of course she can't do the Yurchenko double pike because they both have Yurchenko entries, round off entries onto the table. So, very likely that the aminar will replace the Yurchenko double pike moving forward. And I believe Laurent, her coach, also said that that was kind of the plan. On bars, Simone just messed around with a couple of combinations. It's always great to just watch Simone do bars and basically, or just any event, and not basically warm it up. Beam, I mean, she's obviously warm from, they do like the team warm up, and then they do, they did physical ability. So she's warm, but she basically gets onto every apparatus and, you know, might do a handstand here, do just a little something there, but she will go from that to a full routine and not blink twice. So that's always incredible. But she really worked, she worked in pieces today. I can't say, I think she basically did her full beam routine, but we'll get to that in a second. But she worked the latter half of her bar set quite a few times. Van Leeuwen, toe one to full twisting double back. Looks great. Basically did that with no bars warm up. She did like a few kips. That was basically it before that. She also messed around with, at one point, a Maloney to a giant 1.5. But she didn't get it around at all that we saw. So I don't know, I think I saw her do it like twice. On beam, she did basically her full routine. It looked very much like the routine that she's been doing. No dismounts, which is not surprising. Very few people did dismounts today. And then on floor, no routine. Very few people did routines or even did routines with music. There was tumbling, but Simone and Jocelyn focused on the tumble track. They were throwing, like Simone did a Biles 1 and full twisting double A, I believe, and just like those kinds of laid out elements on the tumble track into the pit, and so did Jocelyn. And that was kind of the day for Simone. So Simone looked great. That's the synopsis. She looks great, and she continues to look great. So nothing revolutionary with her routines right now. And by revolutionary, I mean new. It all looks very much like what she's been doing and what is expected of her. It looks clean, it looks good. She looks like the #1 US gymnast. So it'll be interesting to see what she does with her new floor routine. We do know that she's getting a new floor routine. She posted about like doing her choreography. So that'll be very interesting. Suni started on beam. She looked great. She didn't get hurt. She's been working on a round off layout step out mount on beam to back handspring. Had a little bit of trouble with it at first, but eventually got it. I think she basically showed a floor routine, but things that we saw beautiful switch leap to switch half to ring jump, just stunning. Suni is one of very few gymnasts who actually hits the right position in the switch half. Most people aren't getting to 180 on that or getting their hips fully around. And the side aerial, layout step out, timer dismount. Again, most people were not doing dismounts. Trying to see if there was anything else for Suni on beam. So what we saw, round off, layout step out mount to back handspring, front aerial, switch to switch half to ring, aerial layout, switch ring, and then timer dismount. That's what her beam looked like. She stayed on beam and worked on artistry with Betty Okino instead of moving to floor. So saw nothing from her on floor. During vault, she was on the trampoline with Shilese, who was also, no, she was not. Yes, Shilese and her were in the same like rotating group, and they were just like jumping on the trampoline. They did not vault. And then they moved to bars. Did not see the full twisting Jaeger from Suni today. Obviously, it's coming. When she's gonna do it, like to get it named, don't know if that's gonna be Paris or if she's gonna try for something sooner. But she's definitely going to be competing that. Obviously, it seems like it's something that she has been, like all those different videos that she posted, different Leos, different time frames, like this is something that she's been working on. It's very clear. So don't think just because today we didn't see it that that's any sign of anything. Let's see, for Suni on bars. She was really focused on it was her pack to Maloney to Ginger. And then I was trying to think if she worked she did work a dismount. She was working her dismount, I believe. So that was kind of the focus. She did it again and again. So it was really beam and bars today for Suni, and both looked very good. So something that Chelsea Memel told us after after practice was over for the day is that, one of the questions that was asked is, it's a 5-person team, of course, again, instead of a 4-person team, so it might take a little bit of the pressure off to have all-arounders that can contribute during the team event, because that's the priority. But, the question was asked, can basically a gymnast who's a specialist or specializes on, 1 or 2 events, do they have a realistic chance, basically, instead of, even if they finish like 10th or 12th in the all-around, if they're really good on those events, do they have a chance? And she was just like, they have to be exceptional on those events. And that's it. That's the fact of the matter. And I mean, I don't know what Chelsea Memel's definition of exceptional is on events, but I guess I can have a decent idea. And I would say that it's early season, and of course it wasn't perfect, but I would say that Suni looked exceptional on beam and bars, and she will be exceptional on those events. So she can be consistent if she can hit. Even if I think that I can't tell based off of Suni's health situation and all those things that we did not see vault or floor from her. I mean, I would say even if she's not doing those events, she's going to be a contender as long as she's healthy with her bars and beam. And if she is doing those other 2 events as like a backup, then, I mean, that just adds to her case. If she can fill in and if she can do all around, then exceptional. But to count Suni out at all right now would be, yeah, she's definitely in the running. There's no question about that. Shiley's worked beam, a bit wobbly, no dismounts that I saw. Standing Arabian, some turns. Standing Arabian, 2-footed layout series. She did that, looked solid. L turn to full turn, no dismounts that we saw. Like I said, it was a bit wobbly. She told us when we were talking yesterday that she was focused on getting healthy, which tells me that she's not necessarily 100% healthy, just working through some various things. And she did not disclose what, but she did not, of course, work on vault, and then she didn't tumble on floor. She focused on dance and those kinds of things. So that might contribute. Whatever is going on there might be why she was maybe a little bit wobbly on beam or what have you. I don't know. But on bars, she focused on one thing on bars, and that was a laid out Jaeger. And that's a new skill for her. That's kind of breaking news. So you might have heard it here first, or if you didn't, you might have seen it on social. We posted the video, so you can go to our channels to see it. But it looked beautiful. And I think it's great. It's amazing. She's laid out Jaeger. Of course, Suni's skill is a full twisting Jaeger, so they're different. Laid out Jaeger has been competed before. But it looks beautiful, and she's bringing it. So very exciting. That was probably the most exciting takeaway from camp, was the laid out Jaeger from Shy. Jocelyn Robertson, she looked great for, having just been injured at Worlds. She told us yesterday that she is fully cleared to practice. She's still doing dismounts onto like soft mats, but she did vault today to the soft mats. She did beam. She was doing standing fulls. She was doing onodis. She was doing I can't remember if it was side aerial, layout, step out. Missed it quite a few times, but she got it towards the end. So she was crushing it on beam and looked very powerful. Her vaults looked very powerful. Her Chang on vault, even though it was to a soft mat, it was super, super powerful. And then bars, she was doing a toe one to Maloney, and then she also did some release skills, and she did more than that on bars, but that's what I noted here. So bars is Jocelyn's weakest event, and I do remember her doing Ashova. Yeah, I'm exhausted, so if I'm pausing, that's why. But she did quite a bit on bars, looked very good, and it's very promising to see her working on all events and looking like her powerful self. And I would say that I even think that some of her technique was better. It just looked cleaner. She looked cleaner than I've seen previously. So it's very exciting. She's not doing Winter Cup. She's still working back, so you will not see her at Winter Cup. I was trying to think if there was anyone else from our interviews that is notably not competing at Winter Cup. But I don't know for sure. I know that Shiley's mentioned, we asked Shiley's, I can't remember what she said, we will see. TBD, like I said, the field is getting released this week. I just can't remember. But most of those people said that they were competing at Winter Cup. Jordan Childs did do interviews yesterday. She was not there today. She was not, from what we heard, she was not feeling well. So that's why she was not there, and she was excused from today's practice. They continue to do camp, I think, until Wednesday. Also not in attendance, Gabby Douglas. I'm sure that you've now waited 20 minutes to hear that, but she was not there. Of course, the Winter Cup field comes out this week. The chatter, the assumption is that she'll be competing at Winter Cup. Gabby hasn't had her comeback meet. She hasn't competed in, nearly 8 years. So to come back at Classic in May, and then you just have Classic, championships, and trials to, show what you got. It's Gabby, so of course she could do that, but it's definitely a more comfortable path from an outsider's perspective to do Winter Cup. Low stakes, get your feet wet. There's not a bunch of, Simone isn't gonna, I can't say until the field comes out, but highly doubtful she's gonna be at Winter Cup. So get your feet wet in a lower stakes competition, and show people kind of what's going on, that you're back, and show the national team staff and everyone that you're legit. So expectation is that she will be there, but she was not at camp today. Excuse me. So is there anything else? We've gone for 22 minutes now, so I think for the most part, those are the big highlights. I did see a full twisting double layout from Tiana. That was beautiful. It was onto a softer mat. It wasn't on the main floor. Zoe Miller looks very good on bars. She's, of course, the Pan Am Games bars champion. Yeah, I think that was about it. So what's next? Winter Cup, of course, is at the end of this month. We will hopefully see Gabby's comeback at that meet. We will get a good idea, good baseline of the not the full Olympic contenders, but a lot of people will be getting their feet wet. It's getting your feet wet competition. It's not super high stakes or anything like that, but it's just getting out there and getting back into the swing of things after a break. And I think that was the other big thing with Jocelyn, even though she won't be at Winter Cup, is that I asked her, she was the World Cup lady last spring. She was going World Cup, or all these international assignments and crushing it. But she did all of that, and then she went, elite season and got to Belgium, and she got hurt, and not necessarily that she got hurt because of exhaustion or anything like that. That's not what I'm saying, but to keep going, go. It seems, I did ask her if she kind of got to take a breather and take a break, because she was forced to kind of slow down. And she was just yeah, kind of worked out that way. So, but maybe that also contributes to, like I said, I just feel like she looked cleaner, a little bit more powerful, even though she's, doing these things to the soft mats. Maybe that rest contributed to that. So that is about it. It was a great couple days. Be heading back to, I live in Georgia, so I'll be heading back to Georgia tomorrow, but it was a good short trip, and a lot to come from our interviews and clips. We have a ton of clips from training, so we'll be sharing those. Go follow us on social to see those, and you can of course go see the laid out Jaeger now. Oh yes, the last thing I will leave you with is Carly Patterson was at camp. She was actually at the last camp, so they have brought her on as the national team mentor. I believe that is the official title. So Chelsea and Alicia actually reached out to her and asked for, I guess one of them came up with the idea, and they reached out and they were like, they kind of wanted somebody who's been through this and gotten, you know, to the highest level for the women to talk to, and just show up and like not have a say in the teams, because of course the women feel comfortable talking to Chelsea and they feel comfortable talking to Alicia, but they're also those people have a say and are leading this team. So to have another person to talk to that has been at that level but isn't necessarily, you know, it's just a friend. That's it. It's a friend. It's a mentor. So that is what Carly is. Her role is. She had talked with Suni a lot. We tweeted a video about that, like just them talking. You can't hear what they're talking about or anything, but she talked with Suni a lot, and she was walking around and talking to everyone. And yeah, the vibe at camp was very, I mean, of course they're training. This is the Olympic here. You're training, you're trying to achieve a goal, but there was laughter, there was fun. It was, at least from my perspective, it was a very positive experience. And I think that the parting thing I will definitely leave you with now is that they did their USA chant in lineup at the end of practice, and it was fine, but Alicia definitely was just like, I want more oomph tomorrow. She told that to the women. She was just like, give me more tomorrow. I need more from that USA chant. So great spirit and a lot to be excited about. So that's my recap. We'll have more video stories, etc. coming soon. But like I said, if you enjoy this kind of content, please subscribe to Gymnastics Now. It really helps, like I said, helps travel, pay for writers, photography, all of that. Every dollar counts. It means a lot. So we really appreciate your support. You, our subscribers, our viewers, readers, etc., are what makes this possible. So thank you so much, and see you soon.